Hello everyone. I'm trying to adjust the volumes. Welcome back. This is kind of going to be on loop in the background, and I'm going to talk about the live announcement. Now I'm going to try, I don't have any notes, which is probably a bad idea, but I am going to try to go in order of what they had talked about. My opinions. What I can say right now is, oof. That's all I can say currently. And I am a very positive person, I would say. At times, I'm positive. And I think there are things that are worth talking about and worth some excitement. But I will say, as my general opinion of this live event, is that I am disappointed. What was this? Oof. So, I was disappointed, but at other times I was also really excited. Let's start with starting at the beginning and then going to other things. I'm gonna turn this down even more. I'm sorry. This is like very unprofessional, but this is not the time to be professional, in my opinion. But okay, so let's talk about the hype. Let's start there. Let's start about the countdown timer and what that was about. That was probably the most fun experience part and the most hyped of this whole thing was the countdown timer. It was so cool and awesome seeing Nigel and his gang kind of fade in and out of the blizzard, and we got hints and hints about that stuff. I thought that was really cool. And it kept people engaged. It kept people coming back to a timer that wasn't going to end in 40 hours. Like, that almost is unheard of, where it's like you're always coming back to check on the timer because you know what's changed. So that was cool. And then we saw the giant lineup of the Char and the Norn and the Icebrood. That was cool. So the countdown timer and the hype was very awesome, and I really appreciated that, and I really liked it. Also, this video is not going to be a trailer analysis, or is it? No, it's not going to be a trailer analysis, so you might see 2 videos of me analyzing this trailer as well. So, I'm in a mood. So the thing begins, and there was a pre-show. It was a pre-show, whatever. It was cool. Liked it, appreciated it, and then it started. And the announcer was cool, I guess. I don't want to say anything really. I don't want to be overly critical or analytical of the announcer or the devs, because like it's hard public speaking. It's hard to publicly speak in an auditorium with multiple people, with many people. People don't do it often. So it was good. And I will say the devs did an amazing job. So let's start with the trailer. This is not going to be a trailer analysis, more so just how I feel about the trailer. And then next video I'm going to do is going to be a trailer analysis. The trailer was the best part. The trailer was, in my opinion, hands down, pretty much, it was like from the countdown timer, hype, trailer, hype, and then after that, what's happening? The trailer was so well done. I love the art style. The narration, the imagery that we saw, which I'm not going to get really into right now, but I will in the next video, as I keep saying. So yeah, trailer was spot on, stellar. After the trailer, we had the narrative team come up and talk about the lore. Now, I personally really appreciated this, and I think that this was a really good segment because other MMOs, when they have like large announcements or like, expansions or big game updates about story, they have people come in and talk about the lore. And I think that this segment was really great, and I really appreciated it. They talked about the Char and the Norn, that this season is going to be focused on the Char and the Norn, and figuring out how the different legions within the Char culture are dealing with dragon situations, blah, blah, blah. You know, dragons are dying. What are people doing? How are they reacting? Cool. And touched on the different legions, the Flame Legion as well. We're going more so north and also to the Char homelands. And then we also touched on the Norn, which I don't know if we like got more of the Norn. At least I can't really remember off the top of my head. I don't know if they talked about the intricacies. I don't really think they teased a lot about the intricacies of the Norn. I think it was more just like, yeah, we're dealing with the Norn and we're going to Dormag. Granted, this is like the Icebrood Saga. So yeah, it's about Dormag and the Norn and their fight with their quote unquote their elder dragon. So yeah, like the trailer was awesome. I loved the lore segment. I thought that was very well presented. The two speakers were both very knowledgeable about their subject. I believe that they were on the narrative team. So yeah, writers. They seemed very passionate, which I needed. After the lore segment, they brought on two other devs. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. I'm also just kind of keeping their names ambiguous. I don't know. You guys can go back and watch it, see who was talking. But they brought two devs who were talking about features and what they're doing for the game. Now, I'm going to say this in quotes, features, plural features. I was the most let down at this segment of features because it seemed that the company, I believe ArenaNet and other people were saying, like, we are trying to put expansions worthy features and content and quality into living world seasons. Now, my mind immediately went to elite specializations and class changes and new ways to play the game. On that front, people might say we're getting build templates. Yes, build templates can offer some interesting ways of playing classes in different ways. However, I think build templates are primarily a matter of convenience. And after playing Heart of Thorns Elite Specs for 4 or 5 years, they can be kind of like, you know what to expect. They're not necessarily boring or bland, but they're just not new, and you know what is happening. Path of Fire Elite Specs, we've been playing them for about 2 years now. We know what to expect. We've gotten used to them. And yeah. But they were like, we're just going to do build templates. And I'm like, we knew that though. We already knew they were doing build templates. We've been new. They talked about it in that blog post, what's to come after the big layoff. So, I mean, in hindsight, if I really think about it, the writing was on the wall that there was not going to be elite specializations or any other major changes to professions because of the layoff, and they had other resources into other games. They didn't have 4 full content teams dedicated to Guild Wars 2, which I don't know what that means. You could say, oh, we have 4 full content teams. How many people? What are their skill levels? Are too many people bad? Is it yet to be seen as it being optimized and quality? I don't know. That's what we're going to see in the Icebrood Saga, and I'm very excited to see what's happening in the Icebrood Saga. But yeah, I was just disappointed in the lack of class stuff. Granted, balance patches recently have been doing more with major reworks, but I don't want reworks. I think the existing elite specializations are cool. I just wanted more stuff. Like, it doesn't even have to be an elite specialization. Just give, like, some classes new weapons to play with. It doesn't have to come with a trait line and everything. It could just be like, oh, this patch, we're giving 3 of the professions a new weapon. And just have more skills to play around with. More play styles. It doesn't have to be, like, utility skills and trait lines and all this. But that's all I have to say about the class stuff. In addition to the quote-unquote features, they talked about new maps and new masteries. Those aren't... Yeah, they're new because they're like new designed maps. But we are already very accustomed to getting maps and masteries. This isn't a completely new segment, a completely new feature that is coming with the Icebrood Saga. The only new feature that's coming with the Icebrood Saga is the, oh my god, what are they called? Strike teams, which I am also hyped for. I am kind of really hyped for the strike teams. That was also a really good feature. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Having a raid boss, kind of like an easy mode. And then I also believe that they said, like, in the prologue, the very first strike boss is opening. And then after that, episode 1 or episode 2, the strike boss is going to change. And it's going to look different, have different abilities. And what my brain said is, like, it's going into the next raid. I think that's what they said. It's a way for them to test bosses and implement them into raids with new mechanics and new, it's like an open beta test for raids, I believe. And I think it's really cool. I think it's stellar. Yeah, I was hyped about that. I was really only hyped about 3 things. The trailer, strike teams, and yeah, I think that was honestly it. New story, the lore, the trailer, lore, and the strike teams. After they had the features, the masteries. Don't even get me started. They didn't even touch. Well, they touched on the masteries, saying, like, oh, we're going to be exploring Spirits of the Wild. I think that's really cool. And then they showed off someone communing with a statue of Raven, and, like, they said, like, you gain, like, insight abilities. They didn't even show what that did. They just showed someone communing at a statue and glowing purple. I was like, this didn't really show anything to do with masteries. Like, yeah, you can tell us that's what it is, but, like, what is it going to do? And I know it's hard. It's hard to follow up from mounts, not only from gliding, but to mounts to this mastery line. How is this going to be either as engaging or more engaging? Are there going to be new mounts? I don't know. So many questions. So many questions. So many questions. So after that, oh, also, rest in peace, PvP and World versus World. Yeah, they touched on Swiss style tournaments. We knew that was coming. They were like, oh, you guys get new armor. Cool. I like new armor, but they showed it off and I was like, okay, it's not really my style, but someone might like it. I like new armor. Cool. We get new armor. Next part, after that they did the quote unquote features, new features, where there were some, and I'm kind of excited for a couple of them, don't get me wrong. There were good things about this, but also a lot of rough and bad things about this. They decided to take a moment to do some advertising, which, you know, I'm always a business-minded individual who's like, how can I capitalize on this stuff and maybe make a little bit of profit? And because this season is free, I gotta give them credit. They have to also find out ways to monetize. But this, one of them, it was rough. They talked about the art book, which I love. That's actual art, and that's like talent. That's talent that you can buy and look at art, maybe pin it on your wall, do something with it. I like the art. They're like, oh, we did Funko Pop stuff and more boomerang clothing, which I will say, not the best. But I did like the new concept art shirt. I think it looked cool. The concept art, anything with art is cool. But the Funko Pop, oh my, guys, I'm literally almost, I'm like done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just don't feel like I want to talk about it. You guys. Okay, my closing thoughts. I feel like I was rambling. That was not even a good opinion set of my opinions. Okay, I'm going to conclude as briefly as I can. Do I think it was smart for them to do a live announcement, which automatically builds hype, and deliver this? I do not think this was smart to make it a live announcement. What I believe would have been the best course of action, also would have saved a lot of money, I think, is to just release the trailer, but make us, kind of like how World of Warcraft does. They have, not only do they have live announcements that follow through with big expansions, but they also have a trailer showing off story and like the overall content and like story, narrative design, and what the new stuff is going to be about. But they also have an additional trailer showing off features. I think this would have been so much more effective in the form of 2 trailers. One, announcing the season with art and story and giving some directive, and then having another trailer with like 30-second snippets of each showing like the build templates, some like in development UI, and having like showing how it looks, how it functions right now, of course, in progress. Having another complete trailer of like 30 seconds of like the build templates, showing off the strike team, then showing off portions of new maps, or like some boss designs, maybe some weapons, new weapon designs that might be coming, like show off the new masteries more in depth, like show us what that Spirit of the Raven mastery does. Like they just announced things, but like so vaguely and without any backbone to it, that it just fell over like a limp noodle, in my opinion. It was just a limp noodle. I think this live announcement was the wrong call, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, the wrong call. They should have waited for an expansion to do a live announcement. That's a whole nother video. Oh my God, I can make so many videos out of this. Is the story narrative direction worthy of a season or more worthy of an expansion? They never even touched on expansions. Why would they show things that, it also seems like they haven't even finished they haven't even finished episode 2. They're like, oh yeah, you're fighting Drakkar in the open world, but that's just early concept. It doesn't even seem like they have a model for Drakkar. They just have concept art. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's cool to announce concept art, but maybe it was like, we really should have not had any expectations. Like maybe that was the problem. And I feel like I've been playing this video for too long, and I'm sorry. And I know this is just a lot, but I also feel like I really want to talk about this a lot more. I don't know what to say. I have no words. Okay, let's wrap up. Wrap up. Bad call to do a live announcement. Would have been better in the form of trailers showcasing art trailer, the announcement trailer, and featured gameplay trailers. A blog post would have been just as effective, if not more, because some things are not as effective when presented through oral communication. Like, it's cool to hear people say, yeah, we're doing strike teams, but like, when you have the gameplay to back it up and the footage to back it up, the receipts to back it up, that is what builds the hype. Not someone saying, this is what's coming. Pros and cons. I like the trailer. I like strike teams. I think those would be cool. And I like the story direction. I like the Char and the Norn. My cons slash downfalls, pitfalls, disappointments, pretty much everything else. Do I think it's awful? No. Do I think this was just kind of like it was kind of like blindsided the community? Like we were like, oh, it's a live announcement. They're putting funds into this. We're having people show up. Like people are traveling to show up. I was about to travel. I was about to get on a plane. I was about to miss college, get on a plane and go over there for this. I'm fine staying at home and watching this. I mean, maybe the community aspect, I would have liked to meet some people. I know Deborah and Roy were there. I would have loved to talk to them, say like, what's up? How you doing? But like, what was this? This just wasn't a smart move in my opinion. And I think that they are going to bring some awesome story and some awesome things. I just am saying on the presentation line, we didn't see really a lot of it. And this was also pure opinion piece. I still have the utmost respect and honor for ArenaNet. From what they've shown for the story, I love the story. I think I will play it and I will still cover it. I will still cover the story and I'll still cover Living World updates and the prologue. I will say it's coming fairly soon, September 17th. Wait, like 2-3 more weeks and we get to play. That's all I really have to say. I'm sorry, guys. I'm also just going through the motions of emotions. I'm going through the motions of emotions. Oh, I like the title. That was the other thing I liked. The story, the story trailer, Strike Teams, and the title, the Icebrood Saga. I'm glad that they gave it a title, the Icebrood Saga, not just Living World Season 5. I appreciate that. That was cool. And the artwork. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Leave your comments. Literally write an essay down below, and I will literally read it because I want to know what you guys are talking about. Maybe we'll do a podcast later today. I also... Talking's great, invited me, but I don't know if I have to go to college and figure out scheduling. I'm still... If I can slip and I can maybe say I might be on a podcast, I don't know. I still am figuring out schedules. I already said I might there's so much going. I'm a whirlwind right now. Anyway, I love you all. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and bye.